Hello. Welcome to Life According to Dana. Just stopping by as always, just to check on you guys, see how everybody's doing, and speak a little life to you and a word of encouragement into your day today. And just share some things that I'm learning and have learned along the way. Again, you're tuned into Life According to Dana, and I just wanted to let you know that you're loved and that you're prayed for. This week, I was just thinking about, some things to talk about on this episode. And the thing that just really has been sticking out to me a lot lately is how people have a tendency to compare themselves to others. You know, we've got to stop doing it. We just do. We, we see things that we like in people, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to, emulate what you see, or if you see a successful person, to want to, uh, I don't even want to say be like them, because I think that's the slippery slope to, yeah, somewhere you just don't really need to be. But you see people, you admire them, and there's nothing wrong with admiring their success or who they are or whatever. But sometimes it becomes an obsession. And I want to just point these things out to you, a couple of things. God is a creative God, and He made us. He fearfully and wonderfully made us, and He made us in His image. And if you want to emulate something, emulate that. It's just funny to me sometimes how we can just get so caught up in things, and wanting to look like a person or dress like a person or speak like a person. I see this a lot in preachers. We learn as we're coming up in ministry, different ways or styles of preaching. And we feel like that may be the only way or the correct way to do things, because the person that we're looking up to is presenting the gospel that way. Well, here's the thing. God made us fearfully and wonderfully, but He also made us to be individuals. Do you understand? You are unique, and there is nothing wrong with that. Instead of trying to fit in to situations when God created you to stand out, to be an individual, to be unique, to be yourself, your true self, and allowing your gifts to make room for you, allowing your specialties to come to the forefront instead of trying to be just like someone else. Here's the danger. When you try to be like someone else, then that means there's two of you. So one of you becomes unnecessary. You just need to work on perfecting yourself. Over the years in ministry and life, I've seen things that, honestly, people's successes, they were to be applauded, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I just don't want to be a carbon copy of anything or anybody. I just want to be me. So I'm working on allowing God to perfect me. So He made Dana. So when He breathed me into existence, there was a purpose that Dana, that I was supposed to fulfill. There is a purpose that you are breathed into existence to fulfill. So why then are you trying to be like someone else? Why are you trying to emulate them? Why are you trying to preach like them, teach like them, talk like them, sing like them, just copying mannerisms, when you were really created to be a unique individual? And there's something beautiful in you. There's something special in you, because God doesn't create junk. He creates us all with a thought or a purpose in mind. And it's just locking into that. But if you're trying to be like someone else, you will miss your destiny. You will miss your purpose. You will miss that thing that you were created to accomplish. So let's work on that. Let's work on being ourselves. Let's work on allowing God to show us who we were created to be, what we were set on this earth to accomplish. Again, there is nothing wrong with having admiration for individuals, But if your whole life is focused on becoming a duplicate or an imitation even of someone else, then you're off course. You're missing the mark. You are missing the point. You have something that is so beautiful, so unique, so special inside of you that needs to be worked on, that needs to be matured, that needs to be perfected in you as an individual. You don't have to be a carbon copy of anyone else. I started, out earlier talking about how I've seen that so much in ministry. We think because, someone is just successful in ministry that that's the way we have to do it. Or we admire our pastors or guest evangelists or something. And we think because they have this particular style of preaching or speaking that that's the right way to do it. That's not necessarily who you may be. And there's nothing wrong with teaching. There's nothing wrong without with delivering a message without hooping. It's preference. And it's just some people can hear that type of teaching and get blessed by it and benefit from that style of preaching, and others, they can't even hear you. So it's finding your individual groove, finding your individuality, finding out what you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to be presenting something. And we, as preachers, a lot of times, we just think because grandma taught it, we all had to buy it or we bought it, and we think that our way of doing things is the right way. So then we become critical of others that aren't doing it just like we learned it or how we observed it. But you know what? Who said that was the right way to do it? I spoke in another episode about who told you that. Who told you that you had to do things this way, or that you had to sing this way, or you had to look this way? The beauty industry is great. It serves its purpose. But when it becomes more of your life than you trying to work on core values, on things that really are important, like how you treat other people or even how you treat yourself, then you run into issues. Let's work on not trying to replicate, but trying to be the unique person that we are. Let's work on not trying to be a parrot, or someone is just repeating something because it came out of the mouth of another individual. I will tell you all the time, check my facts, check me, check me against the word of God, because you should never, ever, ever, never take someone at their face value, that they, just because of the position, I'll say, that they hold, that they may be spouting out the truth, or that they may be giving an indelible fact, because you should always do your own research. You should always invest enough in yourself that you search these things out for yourself. Don't ever just take what I say as golden. I'm just sharing my life experiences. That's why this podcast is called Life According to Dana. This is what I'm learning along the way. I have this thing to say that I have truly learned about: when you try to emulate or imitate people, you lose yourself. You lose your identity. You never really come to the recognition of who you truly are, because you're trying to mold yourself into a set image of someone else. So again, if there's two of you, one of you become unnecessary. Don't get locked in to trying to be someone else. Be yourself. There is nothing wrong with you being yourself. As God works on you, of course, the person even that you're trying to emulate or copy, trust me, they don't have it all together. They are not perfect. They just have an image. I remember hearing a preacher say one day, like, when you're dating someone, you're meeting their representative. You're not meeting the authentic person. You are meeting whoever they are putting out there for you to believe they are. But as you spend that time and you spend that moment in private with those individuals, you'll see there are cracks in that armor. And that's why, some people say you should never meet your hero, because your hero, the person you don't put up on that pedestal, they gonna get knocked off eventually. They will get knocked down to the ground and you will see their humanity. Now, here's the thing. Can you see their humanity and still respect them? That's a whole nother issue, because no one is perfect. We have all sinned and fall short of the glory of God. So I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is striving to be you, not them, you. Striving to be the individual that you were created by God to be. I love my son. He is such an individual, and I have encouraged him to not fit into anybody else's mold other than what God has created him to be. Did I understand it all the time? No. But I am so grateful as I look at him as a man at 37 years old that he is an individual. He is unique and he is fearfully and wonderfully made. And I love that he did not fall into the set parameters of his genre, uh, or just music that is so associated with African American people, or that he didn't try to look like everybody else. He is an individual, and if I am not proud of one thing, I am proud of that I raised an individual. I did not raise a carbon copy of anybody. I raised an individual, and I am raising an individual. And I want to encourage you to raise your children to be individuals. Don't force them into a stereotype. Don't force them into duplicating what you think is the right thing. Encourage them to discover who they are. Help them to learn to be true to themselves. And I encourage you to do the same. This is life according to Dana. I hope that you heard something here to encourage you, that will help you learn a little bit more about pivoting through life. Be encouraged, and remember, be yourself. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, and God made you unique. So learn about that person. God bless you, and I'll see you next week here on Life According to Dana. Be blessed.